Oh, hello. Do you think that Big Brother is watching? Or that the Illuminati are planning to take over the world? Have you had an encounter with a space alien today? If the answers to those questions is yes, then grab your hat. This is tinfoil hat time. Welcome back to Tinfoil Hat Time. Sorry, we're starting a later than usual. I simply was completely tied up until right about 9 o'clock, and then I rushed back and decided, what is it I'd really like to talk about tonight? Because I had no idea. You know, sometimes I have these things brewing. I actually have a list of things over here, but some of them need a little bit more research than I can do in an hour. And so I kind of basically put this together. We're going to be completely talking off the cuff. I have written down this many notes. That's it. I did happen to grab, since we're talking about diversification. So diversification is a way to maintain options. Of course, I had to grab a basket and put all my eggs in it. So I actually happen to have a basket here with all of my eggs in it that are in the house. Of course, they're getting moist because, well, it's kind of warm and humid here and nowhere else. But we're kind of impromptu today. I hope I don't have anything that's going to actually pull up the... oh, I do have things that are going to pull up the title. I'm going to have to rebuild the title slide here before we go into the comments. I'll go ahead and do that while I'm reading the initial comments here. So... if I can select the right folder. Yeah, I was just completely tied up until about 9 o'clock, and so what I wanted to do then is come back and get something up there. And that's why I had made the mention on Friday night that I might be doing this at a different time. I had an idea I would be running late, but I didn't know exactly how late or when or why or anything else. So there we are. Title slide is now written. Discard that. So, hello to everybody. Haddock Dev, John Sweeta, how's it going? Anna Rita, how are you today? Brian the Computer Geek, how's it going there? I hope you got your hat. Daniel Turbs, I am doing well. How are you? And Philip Walters, how's it going? In Windows, using AOME backup, can I back up the system and restore it when things go wrong? Oh, can you do this in Linux by entire system? I mean, all the partitions, etc. There's a few different options you have. Now, like most Windows backup programs, what a standard backup program in Linux is going to do, such as the one that comes on Linux Mint or Ubuntu, it will just take a backup of your home folder, which essentially contains a copy of about everything. Now, it is very possible to do that. In Linux to make a complete copy of everything. It does take a little bit of extra hardware, but if you do definitely want to do that, you want to use Clonezilla, get an alternate hard drive, and keep an image of your hard drive backed up. There probably are other ways to do it as well. Off the top, I know that's what I've done. My Linux Mint KDE computer has actually been transferred to 3 different hard drives, the exact same everything. When you transfer it, it is exactly the same no matter what. First, I had it on a small drive. I wanted to put it up into a bigger drive that was a little bit newer, and then an SSD I had in the office became available, so I re-imaged it back over to the SSD. That maintains absolutely everything. So yes, you can do that. It is a little bit more overhead, but yes. Oh, I almost forgot about this. Oh no! Yeah, I usually do this at 9 o'clock. If you're new here, I usually do this this particular episode at 9 o'clock, and like I said, I was just completely unavailable to do that. Well, yeah, the backup program he's talking about probably only works with Windows, but you can still do it. And in fact, Clonezilla. Yep, very, very correct. All right, so what we were going to talk about today is diversification, because what I did is I put all my eggs in one basket. See, very nice. This is all the eggs I have in the house, and I do not want to drop my eggs. And that's the if you've heard that expression, or maybe maybe you haven't, what it means is that every bit of my resources are in this one basket. If I lose this one basket, I'm essentially done. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. But to do that, I actually need to empty my basket. So I have a little egg cart in here. So I'm going to go ahead and drop my eggs back over here and Keep them good. These are raw eggs. They actually do not have to be refrigerated. I pretty much do it out of habit, but regardless, I'll go ahead and set my eggs over here. Hopefully I don't break because I'm setting my eggs on top of a computer. Hey, Robert, how's it going? Archi386. How's it going there? I'm lazy, so I use GNOME NIST utility to make partition image using a live image. There you go. Here at Nom and no Tom. No! Yep. So anyway, I have my basket now because what we're going to talk about today is putting all of your eggs in one basket. And for those of you that are happily persuaded by crazy religious speak, this is something that is actually in the Bible, in the wisdom literature. So it's not some New Testament-y thing. So a Christian, Jewish person, or anybody that enjoys fascinating literature from the book of Ecclesiastes, in chapter 11, it says, cast your bread upon the waters, for you will find it after many days. Divide your portion to 7 or even to 8. You do not know which misfortune may occur on the earth. And since this is not my Christian channel, I'm not going to read any further. Go check out that channel for more at Our Walk in Christ. But regardless, even the Bible tells us to diversify. Everything tells us to diversify, except modern business does not want us to diversify. They want us to become captive. So there's a difference between diversification and being a captive person, and that is kind of what we are talking about here. And so first we're going to talk about your general life, and then we're actually going to get into the digital world of all this. So as far as your general life are concerned, obviously the don't put all your eggs in one basket and the concept itself of diversification, which I'm looking at that, I hope I spelled that right, I don't know. But regardless, diversification generally was a financial term, meaning that you're not going to take all of your resources and put all of your resources inside of one specific location. That is kind of what is at the heart of this. And because if you take all your resources and put it in company stock, for example, in one company, if that company CEO has a unfortunate interaction with the secretary, it could cause the entire stock to plummet. Okay. And so you don't want to put all of your eggs in one basket. That's why if you're talking about investments, you want to do mutual funds, because there's a whole lot of things. You get a whole lot less craziness going on if there's 100 companies in there or 1,000 companies in there. And so you want to diversify in those respects. Now, in the insurance world, if you're shopping for insurance and you need to shop for insurance for some things, you want to be aware of captive agents versus agent brokers or insurance brokers, right? So the broker is more like a diversified person. An insurance broker, somebody who's a broker, what they can do is that they can shop a lot of different companies to find you the best rates for the system that you have in place. This means that you're not locked in any given situation, and a broker is generally in business a whole lot longer than a captive agent. For example, I have a friend who is a captive agent for an insurance company, and he has traded insurance companies 3 or 4 times since I've known him. But the bottom line, though, is that each of these insurance companies, he is only authorized to sell the insurance that one company does. The challenge with that is if I need car insurance, and if you drive, you do, then you walk around, you're looking around at your insurance and you want to shop for it. If all I have is one captive agent to go getting my shopping for insurance, I'm going to not get a good deal. And if you go through a broker, you are going to pay less for the same type of policy than if you go to a captive agent. And so you need to diversify that as well. Both you diversifying who you're getting your insurance from so that you're not locking yourself into a rate, and them diversifying so you can get a better customer, because, I've shopped renter's insurance when I moved to this place. And you know what? I got 3 different quotes from 3 different people. Guess what? I went to the quote that was the best cost for the best amount of thing that I had with a reputable company. If I had an insurance broker, the broker has a better shot of getting the business because he's not tied into what he has to sell. And so we want to diversify things. And the last area I have in our general life, and there's a lot of other places, but I want to talk about jobs and clients, particularly for us as freelancers. I'm a freelance web developer. I do not want to tie all of my jobs to one person, because if that one person crosses the street without looking and gets hit by a car, I can watch my entire business plummet out if all I have is one client. And so I have to diversify and have a variety of different people I'm always doing work for. Cast that bread upon the waters. We don't know what disaster is going to come. And so we have to diversify things in our life so that we do not run out of options. And that's what we need. We need options. There are two things that are going to make you succeed in life: options and knowledge. He who has the knowledge and he who has the more options will have a better chance navigating the crazy things in life. So that's kind of the intro here. Let's see what people are saying on the comments. This is probably going to be a shorter stream than usual, by the way. Okay, TOS today even had his videos demonetized. Really? Wow. A few months ago to bigger YouTubers. During the original adpocalypse, I had 2 videos that temporarily lost their monetization strategy, and they were pretty old. I have not seen anything yet. I haven't checked my video library today. Should I check my video library today? Do I want to check my video library today? Seems as though everything of mine seems to be monetized still. Which is really funny because I don't watch a lot of TOS today. I do watch a fair amount of Joe Collins, and, you know, I'm crazier than Joe Collins. I don't know why Joe Collins, particularly with the viewpoint of people that seem to be demonetized, I'm crazier than Joe Collins is, and I'm surprised I'm not demonetized before him. Whatever. But that's crazy. I'll have to look into that. The other day, okay, I have a feeling that's happening to even you. No, it's not. As of right now, I'm not getting demonetized yet. I'm shocked, though. Because I have taken, I don't focus my channel around it, but I have taken the stance of the people who generally do get demonetized. I mean, for crying out loud, I'm an offensive human being, people. I am white. I am a male, and I am a Christian. What more do you want to be offensive than that? Just by that bit, like, I'm white, I'm male, I'm Christian, I should just be demonetized. I mean, come on, people. That seems to be what's going on. Not only that, but I've also shared some of the ideology, although it's not a part of my channel. It's just, if it comes up, and I talk about it. So yeah, but I'm surprised. Yeah, I'm really surprised. Maybe I just know how to censor myself in the words real quick, you know? Diplomacy. Good Sunday to you, Demiano. I diversified with multi-boots and Linux. Yes, that is exactly where we are going, Robert. Yes. All right, looks like YouTubers need to diversify. They do. And this is kind of what brings down that debate and that question in the middle of all this diversification. In fact, it's an important thing to bring up, and I don't think it's off topic at all. Let's talk about this for a while. Hey, I've already run through half of my notes. Why not? So, as far as diversification, some YouTubers are like, I don't want to get on Patreon and ask for donations and things. And I'll tell you, I don't necessarily have a problem with it. Because if you like what I'm doing, and you have the extra money, and you want to send it my way, all the power to you. And I will use it to very good ends, But if you just want to hang out here and watch, that's cool too. I don't care either way. I'm fine no matter which direction happens to go. And so that for me is part of it. Now, I love the fact that there's an advertiser model where you don't have to pay anything. It's just that the fact that I flock a lot of people in to watch the videos means that advertisers are getting their products and services in front of people. I don't have a problem with that either. And so, like Joe Collins, I like the advertiser model. But I'm also not opposed to putting up Patreon, and I was considering, in fact, I'm trying to figure this out. What I eventually am going to do is put some type of membership system on the site just to help to support what I'm doing, because I can put a lot more into the videos and a lot more time into the videos if I don't have to sit here and do a whole lot more web design projects. For me, it's a balance thing. I have to have the income coming in to pay my outgo. Right now, this channel does not net me. I might make $100 a month on this. I think that's what my numbers look like right now. But at the same token, that's not a lot when it comes to the fact that I have a minimum operating expenditure in this office of $2,500. And so, and that means that I can eat because I'm creative at cooking. Okay, so you have that kind of basis going. I don't mind that, and I'm really trying to think about what could I do to do that, because like DeFranco's doing with the DeFranco Elite, what Eli is doing with what's he branding himself as now? Is Eli still alive, by the way? I haven't seen anything from Eli's channel, any of Eli's channels in a couple days. However, his Failed Normal Redux is his new brand. That is still, there are still posts going out there, although I know he outsources those. But the thing is that I don't have a problem setting that up, and I'm trying to think about what types of things, and maybe you guys can tell me. What options could I do that if you want to support me, but you don't because you don't trust Patreon, and I get you, by the way. I am leery of Patreon, and I will tell you why. I keep on saying that. I'm going to build up to this. I am leery of Patreon. This is why. I'm leery of Patreon. This is why. I'm going to build up to that. However, as I build up to that, I'm not going to tell you exactly why I'm leery of Patreon, but I'm leery of Patreon. So what I'm thinking about doing is setting up some type of special membership access on the site that you can, donate a certain amount to each month or whatever, and maybe private live streams or something like that. I don't know. I don't know. You guys tell me what you think. But I'm looking at, and no YouTuber is going to be successful if you're not diversifying. And so I'm not against that. And for me, while this is fun and while this is a neat hobby, I'm not sure I'd do this exclusively as a hobby. And that's laying my cards on the table, because the reality is we do need to pay bills in our world. And, but again, I like the advertiser model. I love the fact that if I get 1 million viewers on a video and that means that an advertiser is happy throwing their ads in front of it, that's great. I just wish there were a lot more policy about what causes demonetization, because it seems to be coming as a surprise. My theory is the demonetization is happening when channels reach a certain threshold where they're not powerful enough to really do something, but they're so powerful that they are actually pulling revenue out from YouTube. And so I think that's kind of what that balance is. So I don't know where TOS today's numbers look like, but I know Joe Collins is around like that 30,000 range, which means he could almost, if full monetization is going on his channel, he can almost pay, if not rent, then some utilities or whatever else, or buy goodies and stuff. Like one of the things I'm pricing right now is 4K cameras. I'm pricing stabilization devices so I can do better outdoor videos without a lot of stuff back and forth. I'm looking right now actively at what it's going to take for me to get some of the equipment here upgraded. And I can't do that if I have to pull out of my other business to do that. So that's kind of where we're looking at. Oh boy, let's go ahead and jump back over to the comments. Where's my cute cat comment cam? There we go, cute cat comments. Right, kitty? Yeah? All right. Okay. Could YouTube AI random demonetize, or someone is sending fake reports? According to a lot of the people looking at this, it does appear to be a blacklist, or B, something in robotic algorithm. And because some of the people, like the people who are being hit the most, of course, are the anti-social justice guys, or the social justice commentators, I guess. The people trying to say, hey, some of that stuff you guys are saying, if you want to believe all this non-binary gender stuff, you go and believe it. Just don't make me try to believe it, and don't make me call you Z when you clearly look like a he or a she. Okay? And the people, those are the people hit by this the most. And they're coming down and they were doing experiments like doing completely non-offensive videos. Literally the one guy, I forget who he was, but his video was a minute-long video. It said blah, 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 kittens, blah, 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 marshmallows, blah, 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 cartoon frog. And he uploaded it in private status, and it was demonetized before 5 minutes. That's a blacklist. Other people took the exact same video, grabbed it from the guy, took the exact same video, unedited, re-uploaded it merely, monetized. That's how unfair it is. So, yeah, it's getting weird. And so it's getting to that point where, yeah, I'll take the ad revenue from YouTube if they want to get it to me. But if I want to be serious about this, I got to do something else instead. Sometimes if you only diversify, you can water it down too much. Yes, if you over diversify, you can indeed water it down too much. And so that is definitely one of the things that you do need to keep in mind. And you're here a fedora hat, so no video. Wait, what? And you have a fedora hat, so no video for you. That's right. I mean, my tinfoil fedora, man. This should be demonetization, in and of itself. Absolutely. Yeah, I am protected from an EMP blast. Absolutely. Let me find. Go back to this comments here. I don't know. This is tinfoil hat time, so I like to show the hat more than the cat. And if the cat would cooperate, I'd love to give the hat to a cat, so I'd have a cat hat. But the cat just does not like wearing the tinfoil hat. I gotta say, I've tried it. Why is there no super chat on here? I've looked at turning it on a little bit, but I simply haven't enabled it. It's something I keep on meaning to enable it. Honestly, the reason why Super Chat's not turned on, I have not had time to read the terms and service. I want to know what they're taking out and, are they taking 5%? Some people say they're taking 30%. If that's crazy, if that's it, then I don't know. Support you by watching the videos and tell people about the cooking channel and suggesting converting to Linux. Absolutely. There you go. See, and that's support enough because that means subs go up and views go up. The most important number is your views. Like, it's not all about how many subs a person has. Now, the subs count, though, generally has an idea for about how many. But the first most important analytic in all of YouTube is the watch time. What is the amount of minutes being watched? Secondly is the views. How many views do you have? And thirdly, how many subscribers? So right now, I am just under 500,000 minutes per month being viewed. And just under 70,000 views per month is where I'm at. And I'm actually at 453,895 views as of right now total in the channel itself. So those are kind of the important stats there. Could Tomby still be hit by a stellar neutrino on the head? The stellar neutrino, I mean, in reality, even the EMPs are going to get to me because my head's not fully enveloped in aluminum foil. The hat actually doesn't do much. Yes, Eli's alive. Really? Huh. Okay. No idea what you're talking about. TOS was undermined by Google and Minds.com. Okay. Patreon sounded as shady as GoFundMe. See, 3K subs at $100 a month through PayPal. It's $1. Huh, okay. Yeah, it is $1. Realize, I mean, a lot of the people that watch the channel are very young, and I certainly don't want very young people just trying to get out in life, to send it. In fact, I always tell them that's, hey, just tell people about the channel. That's doing a lot, Okay, how do you create drivers for printers if a brand doesn't support Linux? I am not the type of guy that could tell you how you could actually build drivers. That's super complicated stuff. But really, I mean, I don't know of any printers that aren't specifically supported by Linux on a company-wide level. So, it's curious. Yeah, $1 times each sub would be, that'd get me to my minimum operating budget. I could quit web design and do this full time, Who needs 4K these days? A lot of the reason is not necessarily that I'm looking to do everything in 4K, but a lot of the reason is you're getting better view counts if you have higher quality video for whatever reason. I don't know why, but you still need YouTube to help gain an audience so you can send them to alternative channels. That is correct. So yeah, you do need YouTube or some other system. Now, this is why if you watch the videos at the end of the pre-recorded videos, I stopped putting up the patreon.com banner. Instead, I tell you to go to switch to linux.com/support, where you can find out about Patreon, you can find out about the Amazon links, you can find out about any other thing that I have coming down the pipeline for support. And so, yeah, you do need multiple ways of getting things, but if people check out the channel, in fact, what I might eventually do is put the live stream location on the website itself so you can go visit the website. Unfortunately, my server for the website's at right now cannot handle 3,000 subsequent viewers on it at any given time. So I really need to upgrade my servers. I simply haven't because of the amount of websites I have over there. It's a very expensive and timely endeavor to make that happen. Let's see. So right, I'm both a freelance computer consultant and a solo practitioner, doctor of medicine. I need to diversify my income because at the stroke of a pen, I can be hurt. Yep. Yeah. And that's cool. In fact, there's times I wish I went for the MD as well. The program I got my doctorate in, I was actually invited to go to the medical school and do a PhD MD combo at the time. But, I decided instead to go with the main campus and do more of the research focus. Probably would have liked being a doctor better, honestly. But I don't know. With the new Obamacare stuff, I don't know. Reason YouTubers don't often do videos only for a hobby, it's probably because more of them are spending and making time recording videos and more loss of time you can earn elsewhere. And that is true, because what a lot of people don't realize, especially the people that just have no idea what this whole YouTube thing is you don't realize the amount of money or the amount of time it takes to do a decent video. Like, I'm working on a video right now to teach people how to build the server that I'm doing for my WordPress tutorials. Because basically it's a lamp stack in a virtual box that I can boot the thing up and just go right onto the website in the web browser, do whatever I need to do, and then boot the thing down and not have a perpetually running web server, which could be a security risk. And so I'm trying to do the video how to do that. I've been working on it for a few days, man. This takes a long time. And of course, I had to stop and figure out the FTP permissions, and that took an evening. And, there's just a lot to it that you just don't think about. But there is a massive amount of time in this that, yeah, I mean, if I'm going to spend that much time doing something, I would like a little compensation. Basically, investing time that could have been used elsewhere, but instead they decided to make videos more than once in a while. More than a hobby, it's eating into their productive time. And don't forget, not only eating into your time, but, it costs money to have the equipment to do this stuff. I mean, if you go back and you watch some of my very first videos, the quality was crap. The best camera I had was 720p. I had a $10 Skullcandy headphone microphone combo that I used, and it sounded bad. It looked bad. It just wasn't good stuff. Now at least I have an HD camera that I can stream with, and I have a studio mic that actually sounds good. And that's, that stuff all costs money. So, I said the channel makes like $100 a month almost, but realize the equipment that I've bought, I think I've only netted about $200 from this total. Not to mention, but I don't think I included any of building this streaming computer that I'm using in that. If I included any of that, then it probably would be different, but Goggle, or is that Google or Goggle? Is there a separate site called Goggle out there you're talking about, or are we talking about Google here? I'm confused. I'm confuzzlicated. Non-free speech advocates will go after your Christian channel. Yes, absolutely. And actually, that is exactly why I have the Christian channel separate and isolated from the other channels. Exactly why. Because they will go for it. Because guess what? I am critical about some things that society wants to say is normal. Not that I have a problem with those things in society. I don't. Only when you say I'm this and Christian will we start to have some theological discussion. And even then, I'm not going to say, go to hell, God hates you. No. I'm going to say, let's go back to what the Bible says. Because if I'm a Christian, I have to believe with what the Bible says. If I don't agree with what the Bible says, I can question the other things I'm trying to do. But regardless, we want it's a spirit of love, but Christianity in itself is just offensive to people. So yes, they will keep things separate, and that's why I keep it isolated on its own separate everything. Other 2 channels. Well, thanks, Rose. And I really promise, guys, I really am going to try and get that taco recipe up very soon on the cooking channel. I'm trying to figure out a better way of doing the banners, because right now the banners take hours to do. And I'm trying to figure out a better way of doing the banners so that I can do them a lot less time. Like Tom, hit the blue thumbs up button. Thank you, guys. Yeah, thumbs up and subscribe. If you haven't done that, that'd be all great stuff. Shame you have more than one job. Whatever happened to the nuclear family? Whatever happened to working 9 to 5? Yeah, and that's the thing. Well, I mean, for me, I don't have any specific family. You know, I mean, there's people that I have some blood relationship with. Oh boy, the cat's trying to get down. There he is. There's a few people in the world I have a blood relationship with, but not a whole lot more than that. But yeah, you're right. As far as most people need to do more. Hi, everybody. How are you guys doing? All right. There's people, of course, the sad reality is the people that have to have more than one job who do spend too much time at the office and not enough time with their family. That's a sad reality. That really is sad. How do people show up on live on YouTube? Just checking yours and you're not there. You would reach a big audience. It should be, I mean, I figure it should be there. Let me go over here where I'm not logged in. I mean, some of it has to be the size of the channel. My channel is pretty small, and so I'm not going to show up if someone else bigger than me is streaming. I'm just trying to see if this new YouTube actually has a live thing on it. Let me come over here. Okay, there's live. Let me go ahead and switch over here. You can see what I'm looking at least. Okay, so here's live. Mobile streams. Yeah, my guess is if you're a bigger channel. Hey, there I am. Yep. So I'm right there. So I'm actually there. You have to scroll a little while there. I mean, some of these other guys, though. I mean, this guy's calling tech support scammers 24/7. Sweet. That's fun. So yeah, I'm there. You just, I mean, I'm not necessarily featured on the front. You got to go a little, and apparently I'm the last. Maybe it's not based upon who's there. Maybe it's based on the subs, the number of subs in each individual channel. Amazing railway track laying machines. 835 people watching that. That is boring. All these 835 people need to come over to this channel. We're at least talking about something exciting here. A rail laying machine, huh? All right. Nah. Is there such a thing of living comfortable without having multiple jobs and having a 60-hour work week? Yeah, be a corporate CEO. And diversifying a little bit, figuring out passive income streams. That's really the core of it. So the things that I'm doing right now for more like the Christian channel passive income stream is writing books. So, of course, I have Tessie and Temptations. You can get that online, pretty much anywhere you buy books. I think I still have one free giveaway if you want a DRM free digital book. So I'm doing that, and over the last 6 weeks, I just wrote an entire Christian book. It's actually a parody. It was so hard to do because I'm a very serious person, and so I wrote a parody book over 6 weeks. Now I need to edit it and make sure the tenses are right. If anybody wants to offer a very, very small rate for editing, let me know. Most modern printers use PostScript. Okay, is anyone specializing in any medical type of Linux program? I don't know. If every operating system has a form of virus, does Linux in the future need an antivirus? Because when Linux would be more popular than viruses, more like Mac OS. You know, one of the strengths on Linux is because it's an open source system, is things known vulnerabilities get patched really fast, and so you need fewer of them. But I mean, I think you take every safety precaution you can and decide what you need to do. Openprinting.org/drivers. Okay. All my channels for the work and time they put into it. Yep. Not fun being an MD. You're stuck doing paperwork and electronic medical keeping. Few doctors make house calls, and there's an app doctor in their phone. Yep. Still loves me, even if it says on the Bible, gays are sin, but Tom still loves me. Absolutely. I do indeed. You know, and, you know, we can have a private discussion about that and understand each other's viewpoints if we want. But I'm not going to be a person that comes out and says, because you know what? If you go back and you actually look at the section of the scripture, one of the sections of scripture that actually says that, there's a whole lot of other things in the list that a lot of Christians like totally forgetting about. We want to focus on, there's evil gay people. No! Because if you actually look at it, and it's actually in 1 Corinthians 6, and he actually lists a whole lot of things. And among that list, he includes fornicators, idolaters, adulterers, effeminates, thieves, covetous, drunkards, revilers. All of those are on the same plane, people. We can't single out one thing over the other, and if we have a disagreement, let's come to the table like adults and talk about it. Absolutely, you know. The fact that they push college so hard while in high school, then once you leave, it's for the motives. The motive disappears for most people. Yes, many HR departments shoehorn a degree. Yep. Yeah, you need a sort of decent setup for YouTube. I'm using calibration microphone without a lot of editing if sound's compressed. You know, I mean, you can get away with a cheaper laptop. Actually, a lot of my earlier stuff and the whole cooking channel is done on a laptop. You know, and it works great. Should be trying to make college sound like the end-all, be-all because it quickly appears to not be the case. Yeah, in fact, I was just talking about this with a friend today. You know, you hear the statistic that says that people who have a college education. Let's see if I can find a stat on this. I can totally not spell salary, apparently. That is right. I can totally not. All right. College. When college grads earn more like high school grads, let's see. Okay. So here is a chart which I believe I'm going to assume that this is accurate, I guess up to 2013. So we have bachelor's degree, 25th percentile, bachelor's degree mean, and we have a high school graduate medium income. So 40,000, you'll see that between the bachelor's degree, 25th percentile, and your high school actually pretty much mimic each other. The total bachelor seems to be a little bit higher. The problem is all of these are observational studies, okay? Now, I have the little bottom one over there is a PhD in science, okay? So I know a little bit about how research projects are put together. Okay, in this research, this is an observational study, okay? What they are doing is they are ex post facto, 20 years down the line, we are looking at people and say, we're going to pool a sample of people and ask them, what is your income? Do you have a college degree? What is your income? What is your college degree? And then they plot these out as statistical averages. And if you are a scientist, you know you should be looking for error bars, which I don't see any. They've thrown them all out. We don't know what the variance is on all of these numbers. And so what's happening is there is this pesky little thing called a confounding variable. It's that one little variable you're not looking for. You don't expect it to be here. Here is what is bringing down the high school graduate mean income. Laziness. Because if you have a pulse and you can breathe in America, you can get a college degree. Might take longer, but you can get a college degree. If you are completely lazy, like I had a student in the back of one of my classrooms, he literally sat in the back of the classroom playing Game Boy. It was his third time taking chemistry. And I said, why don't you just stay home? The graphics are better. He goes, if I stay home, my dad calls, I'll get in trouble. I'm like, don't pick up the phone. You know? But the fact is that I'm pretty sure I am going to go out on a limb and say that guy probably did not finish college. He's lazy. He's sitting in the back of the classroom playing a video game at the time he should be learning because his parents are sending him to school and paying thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars to give this kid an education. He's too stinking lazy to realize it. Sits in the back of the classroom playing his Game Boy. When that's your attitude in life, you don't make more than a few bucks an hour. That's called a confounding variable. And a confounding variable in a study like this, where you're simply taking the amount of income and in this yes-no college degree, adding them all together, it lowers it down. Because would you guys like to hear about a few people who don't have college degrees? Maybe you've heard of Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, who said he quit school to get a real education. Mark Zuckerberg didn't finish. Benjamin Franklin never went. Thomas Edison never went. College degree is not the end all. Now, that's not to say don't go to college. It means to say don't be lazy. Okay? But if you go to college, go there to learn. And go to college when you want to do something with your life. You've established what you'd like to do with your life, at least what you think you'd like to do with your life. And then if that requires you to go get a college degree, then go get a college degree. Because every bit of money that I've made this year, not a penny of it came from what I have that degree in. I'm making money right now on YouTube, technology consulting, web design, and writing books. I don't have degrees in any of those. I at least had some classes in writing. For banners, perhaps you should make a script or something. Well, you really can't. You can't do that with the banners for that channel because the banners, I have to manually enter all of the banners. Now, I'm working at, since I've been doing the edits on the Christian channel, I'm using a different logic for the banners, and I'm going to test if that logic also works for the cooking channel. If it does, it'll mean I push out cooking channel videos way faster because it will work. Okay. I will proofread. PM me and we'll talk. Okay. I'd love to have a couple extra set of eyeballs. PM me and we'll talk about it. Yeah, I was a huge fan of college, but I'm actually lucky that I made it before college became an expense. Yeah, my 4 years of college cost me $35,000 total. And when did I graduate? I think I graduated college, I graduated undergrad. I think I graduated undergrad 2001. Wasn't a huge fan of okay, let's see. There's a Linux for researchers. Cool. Which one's that? Is it the Bunsen one? It's a big thing in the Baptist church, sadly. Yes, it is. I used to go to Baptist churches. I left and I gained 20 pounds from all them potlucks. All right. You need to take the Bible with a pinch of salt. It's made up from multiple religions. I would disagree with you on that, John, but this is not the channel I do that on. So you can PM me on the Christian channel and we'll discuss it all you want. I'm not going to do that here. Every one of us have our own sins. We have to work out our faith in God. And I think it's wrong to pound on one particular sin because you disagree with it. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So follow the words of Christ. Won't go too far wrong. Yep. Okay. When I went to college, it was $75 a credit. Wow. Now, to be fair, I did the last college I taught at only about a decade ago, only cost $2,000 a semester. It was in a desert out west, so, One guy interviewing for that job, he got off the plane, looked around at the landscape, got back in the plane, and didn't get off. He went back to Denver because, literally, the plane comes in for what appears to be a crash landing on top of a plateau in the middle of a desert. I asked Quick or DuckDuckGo. Currently use DuckDuckGo. I hate DuckDuckGo simply because of what it looks like. I can't find the results. Like, it's just horribly styled to me, so I use IX Quick, but either one of those is good as far as actual results. All the medical programs that are compatible with Linux are via a web portal and all on the internet. In my opinion, very insecure. I do not use them in my practice. Oh, cool. Hey, and guys, I listen to Brian the Computer Geek on that. We have a Linux user and a doctor on here, so ask his opinion on the medical stuff. He actually will have good answers for you. So Haddock disagrees with me, goes with DuckDuckGo all the way. All right. They have even dumbed down college these days. Yes, they've cheapened colleges effectively. And it's not really good anymore. They made it if you give a reasonable effort, you will pass. What is TV DuckDuckGo? DuckDuckGo is a search engine. DuckDuckGo.com. My keyboard is doing the weird acting up again. So DuckDuckGo.com. This is the search engine. Basically, it gets results more similar to Bing than Google. They don't store or track any personal data. That's why people are using it. I like IX Quick. It gives me better Google results. Again, doesn't track any data or store or log anything. So, hey, aluminum is a heavy metal, just like lead. It affects your nervous system and brain tissue. It is not a heavy metal. No, it is not. In fact, it is a metalloid. Your hat is not tinfoil. This is a tinfoil hat. I made it. I know what it is. Experience in teaching. How do you feel about the kids who don't pay attention when they seem to be in their own world in class but get top grades? I was one of them. A lot of them are bored out of their mind, and there's a few things that come into this. In high school, I'm doing geometry, and I was actually studying massage therapy in class, answering it, still being the only person correctly answering the questions in class without a calculator. You know, everyone else is calculator, 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 and I'm just sitting here literally reading one book, making notes in the other, watching the screen, raising my hand, still writing down massage notes, and answering the question. Because it was just too easy for me. I'm an academic geek, okay? I got a thrill out of it. In fact, it's very small now, but that over there is a bookshelf of textbooks, and I like reading them. I'm a geek, okay? My camera apparently tilted a little bit when I did that. So yeah, I'm a total geek. That's fine. The other branch now, some of it is they're overprepared. So in my biochemistry class in college, they only offered one biochemistry class, and we had people who I had already had, I think, 8 chemistry classes when I took biochem. There were other people in there who had maybe 1. And so the teacher had no idea what to do. How do you possibly stimulate the guy who's the major in this class to get him to learn something without boring him to tears, without totally failing everybody else? That was the imperative problem. So a lot of times those kids that are in their own little world, they're just intelligent. They're high achievers. Chat with them about and give them extra challenging projects. They will probably respond very well. That's my thought about that. Not everyone makes what you make. And I said, but I work for it. Yeah, that's true. That's true. College is great for people who lack discipline. Actually, I disagree. I think it's horrible for people who lack discipline because you'll fail out. But steer clear of gender studies. Probably, yes. Okay. Some fields are trades and others only require a sort of portfolio. So college isn't necessary in some cases, right? Some fields are trades and others require some sort of portfolio. So college isn't necessary in some cases. No. Yeah, it is not necessary in some cases. If you want to be a teacher, you got to go to college. You have to have a teaching certification. Want to be a doctor, you got to go to college. Want to be a lawyer, you got to go to college. So that's why I say you need to assess what you want to do. And all of those are awesome occupations. But if you want to be a writer, you don't have to go and get a writing degree. You know? Would it help? Yeah, probably. Is it the end all? No, not at all. And so for me, for web design, how I started doing actual public web design, of course, I tinkered with it for a good decade before I actually went out and built my first live website for somebody. But then I started out just looking for places I could do freelance projects, and I took huge hits. I mean, I did the first website I ever did that was for somebody I didn't know. I only charged $150. It was a 5-page website plus an integrated blog styled to the theme. I wouldn't touch something like that now for less than $800, $1,000, you know, because I'm experienced. I have a portfolio and I have a list of customers. And, you know, and I know what I'm doing, and it takes me less time, and I can charge a little bit more, and that's okay, you know. So no, you don't need a degree. In fact, in that one town where I started my business out west where I lived, we had the only other freelancer in town. We had 2 freelance web developers and 2 big companies. One of those companies, I did all their web design. They contracted it out through me. The other one, I think, didn't really do much. They advertised it, but they would generally turn them down. There was only one other freelancer in town. That person had a college degree with a web design certification, and every website that person pushed out looked like it was vomited out of the 90s. And this was 2010. Had no concept of Web 2.0. Of course, responsive didn't really exist back then. No concept of databasing. No concept of any of that kind of stuff. All right. Studies plus training to become a web developer anyway. So after 6 years, they'll be doing something radically different. Yep. What are your books on? Primarily, I write Christian topics. So this one here is a topic on the process of sanctification. What does it mean to be sanctified? The parody that I just wrote is on one of the latest Christian fads that I've seen come around. It came through some of the churches out here, so I decided to write a parody on it. The other one that I have the manuscript mostly written on is on the Christian and media entertainment, and I'm working on another joint project with someone right now looking at consumerism in Christianity. And so those are what I do. So primarily I write on the Christian topic. However, I do have a few non-Christian books in my list of things that I have goal lists to write eventually. Do you think the only reason high schools tried to strongly recommend college over all else is because their own interest to push it? I think it has a lot more to do with the same societal trends that we see in the nutrition fields. It's just let's see, nutrition fields are one of them. A lot of the medical fields are some of them, where they really push and base a lot of things on bad science. And if you really want to know what's about it, there's a video you should watch. It's on YouTube, and it's by Tom Naughton. Now, it's a nutrition video, but it is called Diet, Health, and the Wisdom of Crowds. Okay. So this video here by Tom Naughton really explains it. It comes down to a few different sociological trends. There's a book out there called The Wisdom of... was it The Wisdom of the Anointed? I forget. Watch that seminar by Tom Naughton on nutrition, and he talks about this trend and where it comes from. Because it happens, like the way the government pushes ideals among the people is it utilizes these things to speak with, quote, one voice. The problem is, with everyone speaking with one voice, that is how America became so fat. We spoke so long with one voice. We have the least fat consumption of any industrialized nation. We have the highest waistlines. And the industrialized nations that eat the most fat have the thinnest waistlines. But with one voice, they told us for years, excise all that fat from your diet. And it came from, I think it's called The Vision of the Anointed, maybe. I don't know. Watch that video by Tom Naughton when we're done here, and you'll see that. So I think a lot of it has more to do with societal pushing more than anything else. Everyone says for so long, you must go to college, you won't get a job. You must go to college, you won't get a job, that everyone in the world believes it now. And it's only the people that stop and actually look at the stats and the numbers and go, okay, this is crazy. But then what happened is, since everybody's being pushed into college, the whole thing's everybody's being pushed into the college, let's just make a business out of it and just rape everybody over the coals because the government's going to give student loans to anybody who wants them. And therefore, we can charge whatever we want, that apartments in this town are almost every bit as expensive as they are in Manhattan because we have a big university here in this town. And college textbooks are excessively expensive. But it doesn't matter because you just need to get all the student loans, put it all in your student loans now because you're going to be making boatloads of money later. You can pay off those loans. Yeah, right. When 7 was replaced my computer with a spyware program and very buggy. I've proved. Copy the verbose file, send it back to Microsoft report in progress. Was that Windows 10? You'd be welcome then if I still had that. All right. Some of the things you were taught in school you won't use in life. I am taught math, but I don't use about 90% of the things they taught me. Music, but I don't play it. Okay. I run one command prompt, even though they were pushing PowerShell. Still useful Linux handbook. Did you say IE quick search? Start page. IX quick turned into start page, so IX quick and start page are the same company. I use Brave browser, which replaced Firefox, and starting to use Proton Mail. Have you heard of Hushmail? Yes, I have heard of Hushmail. I used to use Hushmail when I needed to bounce off multiple different accounts. But the problem with Hushmail is now it's like a lot of other ones. Now you have to give them a text verifiable phone number, and I won't do that. So I'm done with Hushmail too. I'm just scanning through stuff right now so I can maybe eventually get back on topic, right? Maybe. And sometimes you need to have a diversified lifestyle. Do more than one thing and have fun with it. Life is too short. Yes, absolutely. The app on my Android, haven't set it up yet. Here's you can link up with Thunderbird rather than log into web access and Proton Mail. Probably. Today's economy, Robert, and even that is more true. We call it passive income, as Tom mentioned. Rarely will a person make a living doing the same thing if they are self-employed. Yep. Yeah, the problem with doing web design like I do now is, if I stop showing up to work, the income stops. But if you get a good passive income stream going, now you still need to do things to keep it promoting and keeping it alive, but you need to do a little bit less. You can get computer certifications, CompNet security by self-studying experience without having to go to college. That is correct. In fact, I drop off things to community libraries frequently. Look at what I found at the local community library. That, and I got this kit here. I think that's everything for CCNA certifications. This is the official test certification system. Not that I'm going to get certified, but I'm a nerd. I'm going to read it. Different revenue streams are cool. Keeps things fresh. Yep. On the computer, there is no app for Proton Mail. Okay, my dog just vomited on my bed. Ugh. Lord, what a mess. Don't hit the dog. He's probably embarrassed already. Here, you. Come here. Oh, I got the other kitty. Special treat. This is the other kitty. Hi, peoples. Want to say hi to people? You like to talk. Want to say hi? There you go. That's the non-social cat. Every now and again, though, she shows up. Something like Lineage OS. Okay, it's true. They should teach high school students how to balance their budget and not use credit cards instead of 4 years of algebra. Yeah. Are you sure you're not an Artemis long lost son? I don't know. Yeah, I'm a nerd. Hey, I read 2, not 1, but 2 biochemistry textbooks prior to taking biochemistry in college. I had nothing else to do that summer. All right, let's go ahead and look at the part 2 of diversification. So part 2 of diversification, we want to talk about diversifying your digital life. We've already talked about your general life. Let's talk about your digital life. Now, the problem is we have our basket here. The problem is we all have ways that we interact digitally. We might have some messages we interact with digitally. So if we put that in our basket, maybe we have some documents we want to keep around. Ooh, maybe let's put those inside of our Google basket. Ooh, do we have emails? Oh, let's put that inside of our Google basket. And now we have contacts. Let's put those inside of our Google basket. Now, the problem is we have all of our eggs in one basket. And of course, there's a whole lot more we can talk about digitally. But the challenge is, what happens when Google takes us away? What happens when they say, your last email offended us. It got caught up in spams. You violated our terms and conditions, and they instantly make everything you have go away. You've lost everything. What if they change something so radically you can no longer support them, like Microsoft? What if the basket gets taken away because somebody buys the company? Can you get all of your eggs out of this basket? That's what's the challenge about the digital life and putting your whole digital life in one basket. We have all of this stuff that we need to manage. Now, the biggest culprit is the iPhones, and this is why this will be the last iPhone, at least the last one that I use on a for a cell phone, at least for a personal cell phone. The reason is I can't get the contacts off of this without going through Apple's iCloud, and I do not want to give Apple a copy of my contacts. I can't plug this in. On an Android, at least I can plug in a USB in the bottom, and I can go into contacts and I can export to the USB drive. I can pull out the USB drive and I can carry my contacts around. I don't have to go through the cloud services. That means I don't have to be a captive person to their tech. But if every bit of my life is on the iPhone, I am now becoming a captive to that tech. The only thing I can do is interact with iPhone's services. That's a problem. You're now captive. They have power over you. You have no more options. And so, with that being said, what we're going to be doing is you want to figure out how you can manage your life without it. And this is why Microsoft is doing the same thing with Windows 10. Not only are they making Windows 10 horrible, they're also making Windows 10 a walled garden. Apple already does that with their operating system. And then we have the Chromebook coming up. So now we have three major ecosystems, and most people cannot wrap their head around the concept that there are other operating systems out there. And so that's why we need to look at Linux, is that not only is Linux a free system, a good alternative to these other platforms, but in addition to all of that, it also gives us more choices even within the Linux community. So if I like a Windows setup, like I do, I use Linux Mint Cinnamon, because I have this thing set up exactly like an old Windows computer is. I got a quote start menu here. I have my quick launch bar here that I can open up multiple copies of whatever I want. Okay, without being pinned to the taskbar, which means I can only open one instance at a time. I can come over here to the bottom corner and I can click this button, which I'm not going to, and it will hide everything, So, that's the kind of stuff that I have. And I like this setup. I am extremely productive in this setup. And that's why not only is my streaming and video production computer set up like this, so is my Linux web design computer set up like this. I like this format. But if I hate this format, in Linux, I have the power to do everything that I want, including making my own desktop environment. I have Elementary, or I have GNOME, or I have KDE, or the possibilities are endless what you can do. And so I can set it up any way that's good and productive for me. I have choices. But not only that, but I have an entire Ubuntu Mate, which every bit of that same digital stuff, the emails, the contacts, the applications, all of that important stuff, I have one computer in Linux that is dedicated to that. And so with that one computer being dedicated to that, then I have more power. I have more options. I can choose whichever phone type I want. whatever brand I want, because I know I can always email those contacts to me or find some other way of getting them back on the device and just have a hard time getting them off. And so diversification gives you options. And so I have diversified my operating systems. This computer runs Linux Mint Cinnamon. I have another web development computer running Linux Mint 7. I have a Mac over here. I have a Windows 7 computer for web design stuff. I'm not getting another Windows 7 computer. I have a Windows 10 crap thing that I can use if I need to do some development testing for somebody in a Windows 10 environment. I have a computer over here that boots into a plethora of different operating systems. Right now it runs Debian primarily. I also have Linux Mint KDE on there. I have Windows 8, I think, is on there as well. I don't really boot into Windows 8 anymore, but it exists if I need it. And that's the thing about Linux, is it gives us the options. If you have a beefy system like this computer here that I'm recording this on, this thing is a Core i5 overclocked with 32 gigs of RAM. This thing's a beast, and it can run pretty much anything. I have a really lightweight computer that has very limited processor, very limited RAM, so I run Peppermint on that, and it runs beautifully. You wouldn't tell. You couldn't tell the type of processor that thing has if it were running Windows 10. It would be like slow as molasses. That's that difference. That diversification gives us that ability. Diversification gives us that ability to choose what we're doing, to not be reliant or dependent on a company, to not be reliant on what Apple does or what Microsoft does or what Google does. To diversify means that you have choices and you have options and you're not locking yourself into things. All right, let's go ahead and we'll go back to the kitty comment cam. Can't access IX Quick website. Google says it's unsecure. Of course Google says it's unsecure. Okay, I'm willing to bet, if you're saying Google says it's unsecure, I am willing to bet that you are logging in from a school account. Check that. Or you must be logged into Google. Because if you go right over here, I know that because if you go right over here, I did ixquick.com. If this gave us any flags, any spam flags or anything like that, it would show up right here on this page. So if there's a scammy site, Google will actually give you a warning down here saying that this site may not be secure. And so I'll go ahead and click on that. It goes right there to IX Quick. All right. So, but if you are logged into a school account, that same exact message will show up if your school administrator has blocked, stuff. Tell my wife is like you, big nerd. Yep, woohoo, nerd all the way. Howling Cat returns. Okay, Dark Lover man's a good guy. All right. No sheets or anything were soiled because they're in the dryer, so no harm, no foul. I never have understood how people hit animals for doing bodily functions. Yeah, that's the thing. This cat right here that you're looking at right now, she, of course, didn't get hit for this, but I used to have this little green bag, like a little green portfolio, and the cat jumped in there one day, and he looks up at me, and he had the cutest little look on his face. I'm like, oh, he's so cute. Yeah, he was peeing in my bag. Oh, boy. That's right. I'm talking about you. Oh boy, it was just too cute. Only ways to download the IX Quick app. I didn't know they had an app. Let's have multiple emails. The problem, all of them probably use one email provider. Then, yeah, that's the thing. I don't have any of them, which is funny. It's video buffering for you guys. Huh. This looks good on my side. Troopers, okay. The reason repair shops can make so much money during doing data recovery is people don't have proper backups. Yes. If you happen to have proper backups, then you don't really need to worry about data recovery. You're like, oh, whatever. I mean, You might lose a week or so's worth of work depending on when your last backup was, but, you know. Linux doesn't force itself on the user. It allows you to create an environment that works for you quite literally. Yep. Can see activity in the room, but the video is still buffering. That's weird. Use Elementary OS. I customize the icons, GTK theme, and I really like it. Cool. Tom using KDE now is not too shabby. I'm a Cinnamon guy too, though. Hated KDE forever until recently. Takes some of the best parts of Windows 10 without running data mining. Yeah. Yeah, I'm enjoying KDE, especially on my Debian KDE. I put on a Cairo dock with some really awesome styling. Love it. Loving it. I still have not resolved that volume issue. I've had 4 or 5 different people give me different things to think about looking at the volume issues, and no, I've not resolved the volume issues. It's, you know, still giving me problems. Turn on Kodi, blast the volume. Even if I pause a video in Kodi, unpause it, it blares the volume at me. I'll have to see if it does that if I boot the thing into Cinnamon. So that computer does have multiple environments on it. For one, prefer XFCE. Ugly, yes. Stable is a ball, though. Yep. Why does KDE always seem to be similar to Windows? Because Windows keeps stealing stuff. Literally, if you look at the things Linux has and the things Windows has, Linux has implemented in pretty much every fascinating thing Windows has ever done 5-10 years ago. Top 5 are Cinnamon, Mate, XFCE, LXQT, and now KDE. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of XFCE, but it works really well. Like, I run it on Peppermint, of course. I run it on Cubes, and I don't have a problem with it. It just, to me, it just seems older looking, and so I like more modern looking things, and so that's why I run Cinnamon. Mate I have nice and modernized. And getting on with Solus. You know, I have not looked at Solus for a while. Everyone's jumping onto the Solus bandwagon. It feels like Solus is the new Elementary. Everyone was doing the same thing with Elementary a while back, and it's just like, and I looked at Elementary. I'm like, doesn't seem to work for a whole lot of people. But everyone's jumping on the Solus track. In fact, if you look at DistroWatch, since everyone's jumping on this, Elementary's been going down, Solus is going up. Solus is going to take over Elementary within a week or two, I bet. Everyone's talking about Solus, but there were some shady things that I've seen like heard about secondhand. Haven't had a chance to verify them, so. But I'll go ahead and look at Solus again soon. But I don't know. KDE, Mate, XFCE, LXQT, and i3. I don't think I've ever looked at i3. 11 p.m. here. We'll turn to a pumpkin soon. Good night, all. Love the chat. Thanks, Tom, for being Tom. No problem. Hey, looks like Kathy's in my same time zone. All right. I have one that does that. Scooter Melvin. Okay. Computer repair is pretty much dead. It's about as close as it gets if not already dead. Yeah. And, you know, and I think web design's moving in that same general trend, honestly. But, not going to totally abandon ship yet, but it's getting there. Data recovery are one of the remnants, but now with cloud storage, has continuous backup. It should be done, but there will always be people who don't back stuff up. Yep. No school site doing it for mobile, though. Huh. Might love KDE, but Microsoft apparently seems to be inspired by it while doing things for Windows products. Except I hate Windows 10 new UI, but I like KDE. I don't see how they're very similar. Somebody explain that to me. I don't see it, but I don't know. My city, there are several computer repair services. Mind you, I'm at the Golden Triangle city in Ontario. Yep. Well, actually, I mean, it depends on where you get to, but, you know, there's a lot of places it's way cheaper fixing a computer than shipping new ones in. About it. People are just going to use something like Geek Squad, though. Please don't. And complain to them or call Windows technical support. Yep. Hot for subscription services. Now, yeah, I know web design is moving that way. Yep. Be an issue I've gotten with credentials turned off on a lot of them. Do you know what credential they use? You know, if IXQuick isn't working for you, just go to startpage.com. That's actually, it's the same company, essentially the same thing. See if that works for you. So I single boot. Do I single boot? What I do is, with the exception of one of my writing computers, while many of my computers will have multiple hard drives in them, I try and make sure that each hard drive has only one operating system. Because what can happen is, over the course of updates, is that bootloaders can start fighting with each other, particularly if you have a Windows and a Linux sharing a partition. You can get some crazy things that you can fix or fixable, but just a pain. And so I make sure I put one operating system per hard drive, because in Linux, that also means I can plop the thing out, drop it into another computer, and it's probably going to work just fine there too. And so I don't do dual booting. I do pretty much do single booting, except for that one computer, just because it's a laptop that has a single integrated flash drive, so I didn't really have a choice. But here I live in a very small town. They just come to the local smart person that sells things like Android boxes and stuff. Didn't realize that StartPage is just IXQuick rebranded. Yes, it is. New hardware won't run earlier versions of Windows. They're forcing everybody on Windows 10. Yep. Gives you freedom to do whatever you want. Yes. Geek Squad knows less than my grandmother. Yes. Geek Squad has a simple checklist that even if they did happen to get the miraculous ability of having a intelligent human being back there, they're not allowed to use their brain. They still have to walk a checklist. Not to mention that whole potential, every time you bring your computer in there, they're going to be looking for illegal things and turn you over to the FBI. But, you know, that's another topic. Most people needing work will already have their own site, just need maintenance, consultation. Yeah, and changing of web designers and redesigns. So, yeah, that is definitely true. The challenge is, though, is that a lot of the big boxes are trying to get into things, and they have horrible stuff, but whatever. If StartPage uses Google for its results, how does it suck at producing results the more keywords you jam in a search? Well, on Google, unless you put quotes, it just searches additional terms. The reason is Google includes in its searches algorithms that contain all of the data that it knows about you. And so the more information you give about Google, it gives Google more information about you, but it always narrows things out so that you end up with results that are closer to what it thinks you want, which also means that it produces a self-containing echo chamber for yourself, or echo chamber for yourself, where that's one of the challenges with a lot of modern social media is people start getting on with all the social media, and before you know it, all they're hearing is just a giant echo chamber of their own voices constantly repeating back to themselves. That's a challenge. How often do I back my computer up? I have one specific day set out in any given month to do major backups. Like a master backups, and then I will do other backups as necessary based upon if I did a big block of work, I'll do more backups, things like that. Geek Squad's job is to sell you a new computer. Yeah, we couldn't fix this thing, but we're going to give you 5% off on your next computer. Microsoft and Google are data mining so they can blackmail future leaders and steal the future Tesla's ideas. Yep. They work for Best Buy, essentially. Yep. Seems as though as soon as laymen, non-techie use a computer device, their brain shuts off. Yeah, that's true. And it drives me crazy. Because some of the requests that I get are just crazy. Maybe want to come up with some joke tech support, quote-unquote tech support site. Computer Geek can cost you money. I don't want to buy from Best Buy because give you non-optional $149 setup fee no matter how many times I tell them that I'm capable. You know, I don't have any of those problems with Best Buy. I buy a lot of my things from Best Buy. just because in my town I have Best Buy and Walmart. There's actually a computer store downtown that you could do more custom stuff, but I've kind of decided I wasn't doing business with them because I go in there, just looking for a few parts. Like, oh, can you get me, what's the price of a hard drive? Oh, well, it's like, yeah, I can buy that same hard drive on Amazon for like $30 less. Like, oh yeah, well that's the setup, like the installation fee. Said I want to install it myself. Well, we still charge the fee. Well, okay then. Amazon it is. And this is why small businesses shoot themselves in the foot sometimes. That support your own, shop at home. Not when you want to charge me 30% extra for an install fee when I'm a computer technician that's going to install the thing myself, because I'm not letting you touch my computer. Yeah, you want to know how I install a new hard drive in my computer? I push the button on the front of my IC dock, I slide out the drive, and I put the new one in. That's how I install a new one. Because I have hot swappable hard drives on an IC dock. Enough handle, a few clicks here, still get a fee. What? Are you online or I don't know? I just walk into the store. Do you clone or have a dedicated recovery partition? Actually, all I do is take the data because I'm a geek. Setting up a new operating system is fun. I can always live key into something and live key into my data on my centralized NAS. That's another thing too, is I have a centralized NAS, which makes backing up pretty easy. I'd still need to get the OwnCloud built so I can actually do stuff a little bit more automatically, but I don't know. But I generally don't clone the stuff. I would like to make a clone of my Windows 7 computer because that hard drive is probably 7 years old now, and I should probably make a backup of that because I'd like to keep using that computer for as long as I do web design, and it is still functional. Besides, I've replaced, I think, everything else on that computer, so. And the same people, non-techies, who would say use your brain when you screw up on non-technical things. Yep. Self-service stuff is going to be popular for a while in tech support. I have a service now I pay for where I can set my own service package, and I think that's a great way to go. Yep. Apple and their products are so expensive, but people don't know about computers and buy them anyway. Yep. Yeah, and I hate Mac OS. Mac OS to me is like a nightmare. Called Support Bench. Helps me to mow through jobs and really focus on the ones that bring money and let people fix the simple stuff for free. That's cool. Start page is not working either. It says there's host file. You got something goofy on your computer. I would check if you got a virus or something. I don't know. I'm not sure about what your setup is, but it sounds like you got something goofy on your computer. Are you going straight there on the browser? More advanced services now that small businesses can use is more stuff on the network. Best Buy wipes your drive and reinstalls Windows for non-hardware problems and then charges you $120. Yep. Worst part is that because of my age, they just silently laugh in their head because I said I know how to use computers and I use Linux. Also, what's a Linux? Can you tell me what that is? Yeah. Ubuntu Mate 1710, Solus 3, Mate Live ISO, VLC plays sound only, video files, MP4, AVI, etc. are black screen, installed Solus VLC, not working, SM player works fine. Huh. I know, not sure about that one. I mean, I know I have Ubuntu Mate 1604, probably Service Pack 3 or 2 or whatever it's at now. And I know I've used VLC just fine. I'm not sure what your deal is. Interesting. Why do non-techies seem to complain so much about how we use our computers? Mainly parents while growing up, even right before actually move away. Yep. Drops computer, now Wi-Fi doesn't work. Yeah, Wi-Fi doesn't work anymore. Yes, that'll be $120 for a diagnostic repair fee, plus possible $69.99 for the wireless problem. Huh? Oh, there's a new Raspbian release. The new Farron release is on DistroWatch. I'll have to look at the new Farron release this week. And just by the way, I think I'm kind of getting to the bottom of things here. Okay, why is it when I turn Bluetooth, I get devices showing up which are not mine? Why is that? Do you know? Like if you turn on Bluetooth, it will basically scan to see if any other Bluetooth devices are out there. That's what I would check. I don't know. I'd have to see what you're looking at. Fix Wi-Fi problem on the newest netbooks when it fails. You don't, because it's basically tied to the motherboard. Yes, yes it is. All right, as we wrap up here, just a few things. On my Wednesday live program, I'm going to switch that from covering a news article primarily to primarily goofing around about Linux. We might get in there and do some newsy stuff too, but I want to try and do more Linux because I realized all my live channels, all my live streams, which is about half of them a week, are not necessarily about Linux entirely. And my outdoor philosophy is not usually about Linux. And so I have more videos not about Linux than I do have about Linux on a channel called Switch to Linux. So I'm going to co-op that and do more Linuxy stuff on the Wednesday live stream. Probably just some basic distro review type stuff. So just an FYI, keep an eye for that. This week, if you are following my channel this week, that should probably be later. I think I have a 6:30 meeting in town. I try and have that at 7. So we might be closer to either 8 or 9 on that. I just don't know yet. Let's see. The issue mark is he can't get to IX Quick or Start Page from the web browser. No repair installed DVD tells me... where'd that go? Tells me it's not running Windows 7 on my computer. Basically reskinned Windows 10 as Windows 7 and slipped it on my computer. That's interesting. Sure it's not Windows 9? OS Safari web browser does not allow you to enter and go to specific IP address. If you enter an IP, it gives you a listing of the website that contains a string of numbers. Really? I'm going to test that. I'm wondering because if the DNS is not set up right, that is a potential reaction. But I have ways I can test that. Straight from the browser, but it does work on Opera browser. Might have installed Windows from a non-genuine MS ISO. Yeah, that's possible. Beta tested Windows 7. Interesting. All right, well, I think I need to jump off here. Actually, I have some videos for the Christian channel I need to record yet tonight. And I do that also in front of this lovely setup here. I just moved the aliens. I don't want people to get too crazy. So we're going to go ahead and jump off here. So tomorrow's Monday. We should be doing a top 5 Linux. Shoot me any ideas you might have for some top 5 Linux videos that you might have. I have to think about that. Tuesday, I'm not sure. I'm thinking maybe Tuesday I'm going to try and have the other system set up, the other video set up for how to do the, basically how to build a web server for yourself. And let's see, what else is there? Wednesday, we're going to do... I might look at Solus on Wednesday because everyone keeps saying about Solus. Thursday, basic tutorials, maybe something else Linuxy, and then Friday, back to news. No, wait, hold on. Next Friday, I may not even have a show at all. I will be completely out of town all day. I don't know. Maybe I'll just record something. I don't know. I'm not sure yet. We have... in a attached townhome, so that means I'm picking up Bluetooth devices from the neighbors. Yes, you could be doing that. Just balance the Linux and other stuff, and I actually bought some stickers with the Tux logo and elementary OS stickers for my computers. Yeah, I'm not getting rid of the privacy, the news type stuff, because that is big stuff and people like it. But I just want to do more Linux than I have been doing, and so that's kind of what I want to do. Do you think Vivaldi is one of the few alternative browsers? I have so much community. They have so much community support on Linux. You know, I've only used it. I think I've only used it on when I was playing with Farron OS. I mean, I don't have anything against it. It's just not something I've installed. I think one of the biggest things I didn't like about it is their default search engine was that one that's like every search we're going to plant a tree, and there was some shadiness involved in that. So I didn't like that. But otherwise, I haven't really put a whole lot of thought into it other than that. Check your host file. I'm thinking checking the host files does sound like a correct thing. I'm still thinking it sounds like the exact type of response you get though when you are on. I mean, I don't know how old you are or whatever else, but that's the exact type of stuff that was going on with my friend's computer when he was locked into his school account. Got locked into his computer. All I did is I went into the network manager and disconnected his school account, and then he was actually able to use the internet again. That's the thing I would check, but I don't know if you're a student or not. But if you are, that's probably it. Yes, JJ Game, you are so late. We're just wrapping up. Put anything past MS, but it sounds too much like the source will install. It was mucked up before the install. Top 5 Linux terminal tools. I just know nothing about the various different terminal tools. You want blood? I can't promise you blood, but I can promise you a cuteness as I feed the kitty some kitty snacks. I do, though, need to readjust the kitty camera, though. I had amplified the kitty camera up, and it's going to be a little big. All right. We're going to go ahead and wrap this show up with a little bit of cuteness, folks. All right, folks. Again, if you would like to help support what we do, switch to linux.com/support. And I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.